Hello, hope you're fine. We are continuing with our battle of revising P4 work, and this time we are going to discuss the weather changes around us. Weather changes around us. It's from P4 term 1. Weather changes around us. It used to be called water and sanitation. It's from the theme called our environment. Weather changes around us. And what are we going to be looking at? We are going to be looking at a lot of things. A lot of things. We shall define weather and climate. After discussing what weather and climate is, we shall discuss the types of climate. There are four types of types of weather. There are four types of weather. We shall discuss the elements of weather. Elements, some people call them factors of weather. Then after that, we shall go and discuss the water cycle, and then we shall be done. So it's not that big. Defining weather and climate, types of weather, elements of weather, and the weather changes around us, and we are done. Okay, what do you understand by the term weather? What does weather mean? Weather is the state of the atmosphere at any given time of the day. Weather is the state of the atmosphere at a given time. It is the state of the atmosphere at a given time. We also used to say it is the daily condition of the atmosphere. Weather is the daily condition of the atmosphere as recorded for a short time. As recorded for a short time. So weather keeps changing. Right now it is windy, the next time it might be raining, and an hour later it might be shining. So it's a short time. But I would prefer saying it is the state of the atmosphere at any given time. Okay. Then weather. Climate. What do we understand by the term climate? Climate is the average weather conditions of a place as observed and recorded for a long period of time. Average weather conditions of a place as observed and recorded for a long time. Okay. So we are moving to the types of weather. The types of weather, I hope they're already running in your mind. The types of weather. We have got four types of weather. Some people call them four weather conditions. Identify the four weather conditions. The weather conditions are sunny, rainy, windy, cloudy. Sunny, double N-Y. Rainy is single N and Y. That's a common spelling error. Cloudy and windy. Those are the four types of weather. Our questions normally asked in those classes, they normally tell us to draw pictures showing the those types of weather. With the sunny, we draw clouds on a wire and the sun above. Sometimes we draw people drying there, maybe crops or seeds or what. They have spread them under direct sunshine and the symbol of the sun. Then rainy, we normally draw people with the umbrellas. We draw those. We draw the raindrops, and these people are wearing boots and so on. That's rainy. Windy, we normally draw lines showing wind blowing things, maybe blowing people's clothes, blowing leaves off trees, and so on. And then cloudy, we normally draw clouds. We draw clouds and people underneath wearing heavy clothes because it's usually cold in cloudy weather. Then those are the types of weather, or those are the weather conditions. Moving on, we have to talk about the elements of weather. Elements of weather are also called factors of weather. The factors of weather are pulled out of the The first four are pulled out of the four types of weather. Like there's sunshine, rainfall, wind, and cloud cover. Some people just say clouds. Clouds. Then those are out of the first four. Then we can also add temperature, humidity, and atmospheric pressure. Some people call it air pressure. If you don't want to sweat with that spelling of atmospheric, you better say air pressure. Then, so the gist of this thing is to go through the different elements. We need to discuss the different elements, their uses of those elements, how dangerous those elements can be, how too much of those elements can be, and possibly the weather instrument that is used for measuring or that is used for showing or recording that element. So we are beginning with sunshine. Sunshine is from the sun. The sun is the main source of heat and light. In fact, it's the main source of energy. Why is it called the main source of energy? Because all forms of energy originate from the sun directly or indirectly. So, sunshine. Importance of sunshine. Sunshine is usually used for drying things, the things we need to dry. For example, drying seeds, drying the nuts and grains, and it is also used for drying clothes. It helps in drying clothes. That's the major one. Then, how dangerous is sunshine? Too much of sunshine is called drought. Drought is a long period of sunshine without rain. How dangerous is too much sunshine? One, it dries water bodies. There are some areas that have got seasonal water bodies, and these water bodies normally dry up when there's too much sunshine, like those seasonal wells. Some ponds dry up, seasonal rivers, springs, etc. Some of those water sources dry up when there's drought. Drought also dries farmers' crops. Sometimes they don't have water to provide to these crops through irrigation and watering, so their crops end up drying. Those are the dangers of too much sunshine. Then, going ahead, let me talk about the clouds. By now, you know the types of clouds. We shall also discuss the uses of clouds. The types of clouds are four. Primary clouds. The primary clouds are four. We have got nimbus clouds. Nimbus, by now you should be knowing at least some characteristics of these clouds. They are dark in color. Nimbus are dark in color, and they provide rain, and they're usually lowest. And then cirrus are the highest in the clouds. Cirrus with double R, US. They are highest in the clouds, and then they are like feathers. They are like feathers in the clouds. The next one are stratus clouds. Stratus clouds look like flat layers. They are like layers, and they're usually flat. Flat layers. They are like blankets. Then the last one are cumulus clouds. Now, cumulus clouds are like cotton piles with flat bottoms. They are like cotton piles with flat bottoms. Okay, those are the primary clouds, primary types of clouds. I don't want to go into the depth there. Clouds provide us with rain, and clouds also provide us with shade. Okay, then let's get to rain and rainfall. Rainfall is the element, and rainfall is different from rain. What is rain? Rain is water falling in separate droplets from the sky. That's rain. Water falling in separate droplets from the sky. And then rainfall is the rainwater that has been received in an area. The rainwater that has been received in an area. Okay, how important is rainfall? Rainfall provides us with water, the water we use for many purposes. That water from rain can be used for domestic purposes. I don't want to go into domestic, a lot of domestic work. It is used on the farm for our animals, provides water to the crops, provides water for industrial use. That's rainfall. It also fills water bodies. The water bodies that dried up or whose level fell during drought is recovered during rainfall. Dangers of too much rainfall: it destroys property, it causes floods, and it also spoils crops. It destroys crops. Those are the problems caused by rainfall. Then the next one, I need to talk about how rainfall is measured. Rainfall is measured using a rain gauge. There are lots of questions that I'm not going to answer now. There are lots of questions about the rain gauge. Go back and revise the parts of a rain gauge. There's the bottle inside, what is it called? There's something which is like that, which puts water in the, what is it called? Then there's that outer casing, what is it called? Then there's even a measuring cylinder for measuring it. Then, let us continue. We also need to know why rainfall is measured in millimeters. It's measured in millimeters, not milliliters. Why is it measured in that? Why is it placed in the open when measuring? And why is it placed above 30 centimeters? It is usually placed above 30 centimeters. Why? You should be able to answer all those questions. If possible, comment with your answer down there. Then that's a rain gauge. Then the next thing we need to talk about is wind. Wind, what is wind? Wind is moving air. Then wind has got characteristics. The characteristics of wind are it has strength, it has direction, it has strength, it has direction, and it has speed. With each one of those characteristics, there's a related instrument that deals with that, a related weather instrument. The speed of wind, we use anemometer. Anemometer that measures the speed of wind. Then with the direction, there are majorly two. We have got a wind vane. The wind vane shows the direction wind is blowing from. It points where the wind is blowing from. And there's a wind sock. The wind sock shows the direction wind is blowing to. The wind sock not only shows the direction, it also shows the strength of wind. So it's the wind sock that deals with that element of strength. Uses of wind to man. There are very many uses of wind to man, but by P7 you should be able to pick out very meaningful answers. Like the use of, you give us the uses of wind as an energy resource. Like it is used for sailing boats, it runs windmills, and sails boats, and it's also used for winnowing. It is used for winnowing. Those are really energy answers, not these things of flying kites. Okay, yeah, they're also true. They also work. Then, dangers of wind. P3s will say, P4s will say, it blows dust into our eyes, and there are those answers they give. It spreads airborne diseases. Then it leads to accidents on water boats. It makes boats capsize. Yeah, those are the dangers of wind. Some of the dangers of wind. We have also talked about the instruments that we use when we are dealing with wind. Let's get to temperature. Temperature is the degree of hotness or coldness of a place or a body. Degree of hotness or coldness of a body or a place. Now let's leave the body, let's talk about a place. What do we use when we are measuring temperature of a place? There are two instruments. We have got a 6's thermometer, which is also called maximum and minimum thermometer. Then we also have a wall thermometer. Wall thermometer measures the temperature of a room, but it's called wall thermometer because it's placed on the wall. 6's thermometer is also called maximum and minimum thermometer, measures the highest and lowest temperatures of the day. It has got two thermometric liquids. That's mercury on the maximum side and alcohol on the minimum side. At least you should be able to tell us why those liquids are used in a thermometer. Why this one is used on the maximum side, why mercury is used on the maximum side, and why alcohol is used on the minimum side. That's P5 matter and energy. Then that is temperature. It measures the highest and lowest temperatures of the day. Then I also, before leaving, I need to talk about the Stevenson screen and its uses and some of the questions that are asked about the Stevenson screen. Okay. It is a device in which delicate weather instruments are kept. It is usually raised from the ground. You should be able to tell us why it is raised from the ground. You should be able to tell us why it is usually colored white. Actually, it's always colored white wherever we have that Stevenson screen. We should be able to identify for us the instruments. Okay, let me talk about those instruments. It has got a hygrometer in it, it has got a 6's thermometer in it, and it has a barometer in it. Barometer is for measuring atmospheric pressure, in case I forget to talk about it. Okay, you should also be able to tell us why it has louvers. Louvers. It has got those pieces of wood on the side which are placed in a certain way. Why it has louvers. And you should be able to tell us why it's made of wood. Yeah. That's a Stevenson screen. Then I also promised to talk about the water cycle before I leave. Humidity is measured by a hygrometer. Temperature is measured by thermometer, and air pressure is measured by a barometer. Let me talk about the water cycle. Okay, now and specifically I will be talking about the rain cycle. The rain cycle is like a small subset of the major water cycle. Rain cycle is the process by which rain is formed. It's the process by which rain is formed. There are two major processes in the water cycle, and those processes are evaporation and condensation. In about 4 sentences, you should be able to tell us how rain is formed. In about 4 sentences or 4 steps. We must be having the sun somewhere. The sun hits the water body, causing evaporation. Then step 2, the water vapor rises. Step 3, it condenses to form nimbus clouds. And step 4, it becomes heavy and then falls as rain. Those are 4 steps of how rain is formed. Now, there's an experiment that is done in a P4 to explain the water cycle. That is where we use a kettle. We have a kettle with water in it, and then we place that kettle with water in it on a stove. A stove with the stove might be a paraffin stove or a charcoal stove, but it's with the heat. Then the water boils, then it evaporates. Then at some level, we put a cold a bottle with cold water in it. That bottle of cold water in it helps to condense the water, and that will be the cloud level. And then the water that condenses onto the cold water bottle will have droplets forming, and the droplets will will fall off the bottle as rain fall. And then down there we can put a plate to collect our rainfall. That is the water cycle. You can listen to this video over and over again, and I hope you've been noting some important points. Share it with your friend. You can also invite a P4. If you have a P4 sibling, they allow them to watch this video, because we have not used really very complicated terms in this video. I thank you for watching up to the very end. Bye.